Chicago, I watched my grandma Sharon on Taking It to the Street TV show.
Hi, I'm Denise Harper. And when I go to Chicago, I like to watch my grandma Sharon on Taking It to the Streets TV show. And you should too.
We've seen nothing like this.
Your fault.
My fault?
Your fault. Your fault.
You're right.
What?
It's my fault.
What do you mean your fault?
Just the two of us.
You're right, it's my fault.
We can make it if
Maybe both of us?
Maybe just you.
Just the two of us.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Taking It to the Streets TV show. I'm Sharon Harper, your host. My guest today, and I want to thank her for coming in because it's been a while since she's been on this show, but I want to thank my guest, Denise Jones, for coming on to give us an update on what she is in the process of doing. But for those of you who may not know anything about Denise and her background, I want her to share some light with us, share with us some information about your past. Also, Denise has written a book, and I want you to give us the title of the book, but she has progressed, so she's in the midst of writing the play, and I am so proud of her because she has gone out, stepped out on faith, and sometimes you have to do that. And I am so proud of Denise because when I first met her and read her book, I'm saying, dang, they need to make a TV show about what she's been through, and she's going to share some of that with us. But Denise, first tell us the name of the book, and then go into some details about how far you have come.
Well, Sharon, first of all, I truly like to thank you for inviting me back to the show. So it's always a pleasure to know that, you still have an impact on someone's heart just to think of you to even bring me back, right? So I just want to say thank you for that. And I am the author of the book titled Who Said It Couldn't Be Done? And I think from the last time I was here, we were just kind of talking about some things, what I desired to do, but they had not come to full fruition. So currently what has happened took Who Said It Couldn't Be Done, and I'm currently now working on a stage play. It has been in the making for quite some time. As you stated, you have to step out on faith, and I've been waiting on God to put the right people in place to help me bring that forth.
Okay, now give us some background about where you started, because and I want you to tell us a little bit. I can't leave Mom out. What they called her, during that time, and about you. What you were doing, because you've been in jail.
True.
And your mother's been in jail too, right?
True.
Okay. So maybe some of our viewers can learn from what you and your mother have gone through and how all of that changed.
Yeah. So just to give some say regarding where we come from, growing up here on Chicago's West Side, and I'll just start with me growing up in a dysfunctional home. And I was raised by my grandmother. And my mom, as she left and she went out on her own, and finally she got an apartment in Rockwell Garden, and she wanted her children back. Upon us being returned to her, she was the typical good mom, I mean, we had all the clothes, the food, the clean apartment. Went to North Dakota one year and came back, and we all was like, Who is she? You know, I asked my brother, I said, and we used to call her May. I said, where's May at? What happened? And my brother always say, you just nosy. You talk too much. No, I wanted to know what had transpired. She came out and had this multicolor natural, and she was looking like a man and had, you know, just hanging around strange people. So, you know, as a child, you like, okay, wait a minute. What happened to May? Where is she? And as time went on, I began to learn where was May. May did a turnabout while we were gone to North Dakota for 2 weeks. And now when I look back on it, she had to be a part of this all the time, but it just had not fully manifest. As they say, she hadn't come completely out the closet where it was known.
Okay.
She took on this role of Dirty O. And just trying to understand what was really taking place with having all the different people in our homes, you know, people who were in the lifestyle, were living in our homes, all the different parties, the orgies and things of that nature. And so certainly due to the environment, I was pulled into it. I was pulled into the lifestyle of homosexuality. I was pulled into the lifestyle of drug addiction. I was pulled into the lifestyle of committing crimes. And with that, I ended up dropping out of school because in order to support a habit, I began to do some of the things to support my habit.
Okay, now, how long were you doing, involved with a dirty habit before your life changed? And how did it happen to change around? What manifests or caused you to change your life around?
Well, I was introduced to IV drug using, which is heroin, at the age of 12 years old. And that lasted I was about 26 years old. So from 12 to 26 years old, that lasted. I recall 1986, and at this time, my mom, her life had changed. So she was no longer dirty old man. She was no longer doing drugs. Now she was living a mother because she was raising my 2 younger siblings.
Okay.
And I went to her home to help her because she was carrying my baby sister at that time. And I was sitting in the garage, and I was smoking crack cocaine, and I had a needle in the other arm. And I was sitting there trying to get high and couldn't get high. And I was like, this is just not working no more. This is just not working no more. And I just began to reflect back because I always had someone telling me, Denise, you don't have to live like this.
Right.
You don't have to continue to go down this path. You know, you can be whatever you want to be. You can do something with your life. But that was not the choice that I made at that time.
Okay.
And I went to this congregation where my mom was attending. And I just began to hear the word come forth. You don't have to live like this. You know, God wants you to be better. He got better things for your life. And you know how you just constantly hear that. And I sat there and I contemplated. I said, there's no way that something good can happen to me. There's no way that I can change.
Right.
And I felt like that I was just going to die being a dope fiend.
But had your mother changed her life around during that time?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
Yes, she did.
Okay.
And I watched her life because her life changed in 1980. She gave her life to God in 1980. So 6 years later was when I came. And when I came and I began to just listen to the words, even though deep down on the inside, I truly wanted out. I truly wanted a change in my life.
Okay.
But I was too afraid, and I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how she made the change, but I knew that her life had changed. I knew that there was something different about her. I began to see her as my mother. And sitting there listening to the words come forth and stating that I didn't have to live like this. And at that time, as what the world might know, an altar call, there was a call.
Okay.
There was a call that was made.
Okay. And
I recall this song playing softly and tender. You know, and I sat there and I wanted to get up. I didn't want to get up. And I sat there, I said, I done tried everything else. I said, I done been involved in almost every part of the lifestyles. Drugs, homosexuality, crime. You know, I said, gotta be something better than this. What else? And I got up and I gave my life. And at that time, the elder, when I went to the altar and he stretched open his arms and he said, come here, Denise. And when he hugged me, down on the inside, I felt something break. I don't know if I can really fully explain it, but it's like when you really looking for something to happen in your life because you down so low and you want to come out, you want to be set free.
Right.
He held me and I just felt something break, and I can just feel like the breaking of day just coming up out of me, and it gave me that assurance that I knew that I was going to be all right. And I cried. I mean, he held me. I cried. And it was something that I had been longing for all the time. It wasn't asking for money. It wasn't asking for he wasn't asking for my body. He wasn't asking for any of those things. I mean, I felt the genuine love, compassion, and concern. And from that day of 1986, July 6, 1986, to this day, I've been holding fast. Have not went back to do drugs. Have not went back to lay with women. Went back to school. Got my GED. Moved on. Got my bachelor's degree. Moved on to my master's degree.
Okay. Dad, you have come a long way.
Yes, truly.
So, having come thus far, you are involved with inmates. You visit the prisons. Can you share with us some of the things that you do
Yes.
when you go to the prison?
Yes. So I've been involved in the ministry probably for like the last 15 years.
Okay.
And now God has been opening up different avenues of coming and working with the women in the Cook County Jail, working with the women in the Wisconsin prison. I have been to Ohio. I have been to Cleveland.
Dad, you going
So
everywhere.
been going around, and with that, when you get in there, the first thing people do, they size you up.
They sure do, don't they?
They size
do.
you up.
They
They size
do.
you up because they have a lot of people coming in there, a lot of people who are phony,
Yeah.
a lot of people who cannot meet them where they are.
Right, right.
And so, and to be able to come in and watch them come in and they watching, here come these different folks, let me hear what they're gonna talk about.
Right, right.
But the moment I open up and begin to share how God delivered me from behind the bars,
Right.
from sticking up, burglarizing, playing checks, cutting off pockets, standing out on the corners, selling my body to get money. And when I began to open up and to talk about how God delivered me and brought me off them corners, but I was sitting behind the bars one day, facing 60 years
Ooh,
for home invasion and armed robbery.
60 years.
60 years. And they sit back and they do just like you, in amazed. Because they say so many people come in, but no one can meet them where they are.
Okay.
And so to be able to say, listen, I know how you feel. I know what it feels like to be abused. I know what it feels like to be abandoned. I know what it feels like to be neglected.
Right,
And now I know what it feels like to be loved.
right.
I know what it feels like to be able to forgive someone who abused you, who abandoned you. And as you read in my book once before, even though my mother did the things that she did, she didn't even realize until when I wrote the book that she had abused me, that she had abandoned me, that she had neglected me. But the most important thing was that I was able to forgive her for all that, and now God put us back together as a family. And now we're being able to go and take the message to the streets.
So both of you all visit the prison.
Yes, yes we do.
So how receptive do they receive you after hearing your background in terms of, hey, I know where you're going through, because I've been there, I've done this. Are they very receptive?
Yes, they are very receptive because for the most part, they are looking for a way out.
Okay.
No one wants to stay in the lifestyles that they're involved in. They want a way out. And part of the thing is, for me, I used to love to do heroin. I used to love all types of opiates, downers. And I did not want to deal with the problems. And I took those opiates, so it helps me to forget about it.
Right,
because I
right.
didn't know how to problem solve.
Right.
So to hear somebody come in and say, Denise, you don't have to shoot dope no more. Denise, you don't have. So to be able to convey that to the women, and they already looking for hope, they begin to raise their hands. They begin to open up. They begin to share and say, you know what? I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. And when I turn and they say, well, where's your mother at? How do you feel about your mother?
Yeah.
I know you gotta hate your mother. And I turn, I said, Mother, can you answer that? It blows them away. So they don't know that this is my mother.
Right.
But it blows them away when she stand up and be able to say that she did what she did and she took ownership of it and how her children have forgiven her.
Right.
And now we're working in the ministry together.
Yeah, family affair. That's good. You know, and I love that story, you know, every time you tell it. And I love your mother as well, because, I mean, that's why I said it need to be a TV story, you know, done about you and your mother, because it is quite a story. And just the idea your mother got saved.
True.
And then you got saved.
True.
You know, I mean, after going through, I can't even imagine, especially when you talking about all the drugs you were on, and the robbing and stealing. And now, among some of the people that you talked to in prison, were any of them, were they shocked when you mentioned that you were about to get 60 years for what you had did? I mean, were any of them in prison for a long, long time, or sentenced, you know, for a long, long time?
Yes, and that's the amazing part for them to hear what God has done for me, which gives them hope,
Right.
irregardless of them doing 10 years, 15 years,
Right,
20
right.
years. You know, God still works
You
miracles.
sure do.
He still works miracles.
Yeah.
So for them to hear that hope
Yeah.
and help them to be able to change the mindset, to say, I need to get my mind on Christ, because this is the one who's going to move on the judge's heart. This is the one that's going to move to say, you know what, let's release her.
Yeah.
So giving them that hope, I mean, if you can just really see the expression on the faces, to be able to come, we go in there, we take life to them. Mind you, they're sitting behind the bars feeling hopeless.
Right.
But when we come in there to show all the things that God has done for us in our lives, they walk away and they continue to come to the groups every month. Been going in Wisconsin prison since 2010, since the book came out.
Yeah.
So, and some of the same women that are there, or new women that are there, they come there and they're holding on.
Yeah.
It's not like they going back, continue to do the things that they do. They're holding on. Lifestyles are changing.
Did you have a problem trying to visit the Wisconsin prisons?
As far as,
In the beginning, I mean. You
no.
Okay.
The book was a vehicle in getting us in there.
Okay.
And so before I was able to get in there, they read the book. They invited me to come and be the graduation speaker.
Oh, no, they did.
Yes, they invited me to come be the speaker, and from that point, that opened the door.
Really? Oh, man, that is wonderful. Because it does give them hope. I mean, look what you've been through, what you have accomplished. So where did you get that bachelor's and master's in?
So my bachelor's degree is in human service.
Okay.
Right, and then that's the same thing. I just continued in my master's in that.
Okay.
Human
Well, that's
service
good.
administration, non-for-profit management.
That's good. That's good. So let's come up to date now. You got this play you want to do. What inspired you to step out there?
Well, the last time I was here, I always talked about I wanted to open up this facility for women, which is Tender Touch Inc., ex-offender women and girls, whether they're in the penal institution or coming out or having those feelings of walking up in the wrong path.
Okay.
So that's always been my desire, to do that facility. And as trying to grow that, which you know, one person cannot grow an organization.
Right. You're right.
So it continues to take time. So while waiting to see how God was going to develop that,
Yeah.
I wanted to move forward with my book, still being able to get the message out. And so by way of play, by way of movie, so those are the things, that's the progress I have made.
Okay, so is it hard work? I mean, for those who might be watching us, can you share some tips with us? You know, how would you get started, first of all, in trying to do a play? You need a script, right?
Correct.
Okay, so do you already have your information written down and you're just going to get someone else to put it in the script form, or what? How did that come about?
So as you know, my book has very different dynamics to it,
Right.
and you cannot tell the book in a play. So certain parts of the book has been pulled out.
Okay.
And the writer for the play is Miss Janet E., who produced Walking in My Shoes. So she written the play, and it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming because I have connected with people, and most of the time when you have a good product, people only look at dollar signs. And I have had a lot of individuals to say, ooh, I could turn this into a play. Ooh, I can make this happen. Ooh, I can make that happen. But within the conversation and hearing money being the focus over the story, that was not the person that God wanted me to work with.
I can see that. I can understand that too. Yeah.
And so I would say to anyone that has written a book or have the desire, always make sure the person have your project in best interest.
Okay.
Because when they have a project in their best interest, anything, any monetary things that's gonna come, they'll be rewarded anyway.
Right.
But that shouldn't be the focus. So the person that God has put in my way now to write the play is solely involved in the product and not the money.
Okay.
She have not asked me for one dime.
Really?
There have been volunteers who have come and have read. They have not asked one dime. They feel and they believe in the message.
Right, right. Well,
And they know that the community needs it.
because it is hard work, you know, and you know, there may be people out there aspiring to do a play, you know. I would like to do a play at some point. But
And it
I
is
can rely on you to help me if I decide that's something I'm going to do.
certainly,
Yeah.
certainly. And it's hard work. It's even when I first started writing the book. I knew nothing about writing a book. The first 80 pages, you know, I wrote it and just sat on it, but then I wanted to find out why I was acting the way I was acting. What were some of the things that was happening? And when God began to drop it in my heart and take me back and talk about the incest, the molestation, the abandonment, the abuse, the neglect, all those different things he began to give me, and I began to write. And then he put different people's in my view, you know, in my way for them to edit it and flush out the story. So it took like a year or so with working with a team of people to help flush out the story.
Right. And that's good because, you know, since you mentioned that, I look back over my life in terms of writing a book, and it's good, you know, to get your journal, whatever you want to call it, and write stuff down, because the issues that I was going through with my mother, writing helped me a lot. And but I was writing, putting stuff away, writing, putting this, you know, away, and I'm saying, wait a minute, now I done did all this, I got to do something with it, you know. So it does help, and there's plenty of mentors out there that can help you, you know, if you need to take writing classes or whatever case may be. But I am really looking forward to, I'm not lying, I'm looking forward to this play. I know I'm gonna love it.
You know what I'm saying? And it is, it's like with anything, and I was always told, it's easy to write a book. It's easy to write a script, but the labor comes in when you're trying to put it all in motion.
Right, right, absolutely, right.
Even with the book today,
Yeah.
God is blessing the book, And I've been taking steps, and I can see the progress in it, but it is hard work.
It is. It really is.
You know, the book is written, but it is hard work in getting it out there. But God has blessed me now. The book has been converted into Spanish.
Oh,
The book is audio now.
yes, yes.
So there has been continuous progress with the book. And while all those things were taking place, I still was sitting and looking for someone to pick up the play.
Okay.
Currently working on a movie script right now.
Good, good. About time, shoot. About time.
So it's hard work, but you have to stay at it. And a lot of people get discouraged because it's hard.
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah. But I really appreciate you coming on. And before, we wrap this up, words of encouragement. What would you like to say to the people out there in TV land? Anyone that have high hopes? Give the name of your play again, and hopefully, when should we see your play come out?
The hope that I would want to give is that someone can watch your show and look and say, if Denise can do this, I can do this.
Okay.
The name of the play is A Diamond from the Rough. And Lord says the same. It will be coming out in July of this year.
Okay.
Location to be announced.
Okay. So if anyone want to get in touch with you, how can they contact you?
Well, I'm on Facebook as author Denise Jones, and my organization is Tender Touch Inc., and you also can look that up.
Okay. Okay. So,
Contact number
okay, what's your contact number?
708-932-6417.
Okay, so I want to thank you for taking your time out your busy schedule, and I'm just prayerful that we're gonna have a TV show or something about your life, because it deserved to be shown throughout the states, throughout the world, of your struggles you went through and how you have accomplished, and that's what's so amazing. So I want to thank you for tuning in to Taking It to the Street, and be looking out for Denise Jones' play real soon. Okay, so thank you for your time.
You're so welcome.
Take care, everyone.
It's always a good thing.
Hi, my name is Genesis Harper, and when I go to Chicago, I watch my grandma Sharon on Taking It to the Street TV show.
Hi, I'm Genesis Harper, and when I go to Chicago, I like to watch my grandma Sharon on Taking It to the Streets TV show, and you should too.